Hey guys, what's up? Viper here, and in today's video we are going to look at the new blog entry that was posted by 343 on their website yesterday. In this video we'll be covering all the details that they have dropped regarding the upcoming technical preview, also more commonly known as beta. So without further ado, let's get straight into the video. And here we are with the latest blog entry. So to start off the post, it actually introduces what the blog's all about. So here we've got, it is the latest Inside Infinite, a monthly blog series that provides a close look at the development of Halo. They're going to dive into the supporting of the multiplayer technical preview, which is always referred to by 343 as flighting, but for us more commonly it's beta. They're going to share insights, what their goals are, the processes, and what should Halo insiders expect. We're going to be taking a close look at what content there's going to be and the experiences that we're meant to genuinely have throughout the tech preview. The first instance is going to take a focus on bots, AI, and weapon drills, which are apparently two new additions to the Halo franchise. They've also done a whole bunch of blogs before talking about the sandbox, the campaign, audio, the PC version of the game, and the live service as a whole, and Halo Waypoint. Carrying on, it goes on here to talk about the Halo Insider program. What this basically is a service for Halo players to try, test, and experiment with future iterations of, at the moment, the Master Chief Collection. This same program is coming to Halo Infinite, which is what we're talking about today. Over 100,000 people have applied for the Halo Insider program, specifically for Halo Infinite as it is. Now, I don't know if this figure includes already existing players, but on the same token, I'm pretty sure they've said across Twitter that there's at least a six-figure worth of the amount of people that have signed up to this program haven't correctly what I'm looking at, say it filled out the form. So if you are a Halo Waypoint insider and you know somebody that hasn't been a part of the program before, ask them to check that they filled in their form correctly and make sure they got all the green ticks down the side of their Halo Insider program form. Carrying on. So here we go, carrying on. Please note, registering as a Halo Insider is no guarantee of access to technical previews. The number of insiders being invited, the criteria by which these insiders are selected will vary given the specific scope and goals to the flight. As part of filling out the form, they do ask you what apparel you use, what times do you generally game at, and that kind of thing. So that might factor in as to if you can play the game at a certain time, then you might have a higher chance at playing, but who knows. For this tech preview, we have a concurrency target tied to our overall goals that will inform how many total insiders should be invited. Within that pool of players, our first priority will be ensuring we have a broad distribution of platforms, the Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, and different PC configurations. They will take a look at the overall tenure in the program, prioritising our longest standing insiders until we've allocated every invitation. Oh, so that's cool. So basically what they're saying here is the longer you have been a part of the Halo Insider program, the higher the chance you're going to be selected for the program itself, which is nice, but also sucks for, newer players like myself. Like, I've only been really taking Halo seriously the last month or two. Anyway, carrying on. They're excited about the outpouring of support and interest across the community. The Halo Insider database has grown considerably, which is great news as we eventually look to stress our services and systems at an even greater scale. However, this also means that not every eligible Halo Insider is going to get an invitation, particularly early on as we are deliberately taking a walk before we run approach. Our goal is to offer additional technical preview opportunities ahead of launch with increases in scope for content and participants. So, if you don't receive an invitation this time, we ask that you please hang in there, future opportunities are on the horizon. Personally, I'm a little bit disappointed with it, but I totally get it. And with that out of the way, let's dive into the depths of what it takes to create and more importantly support and operate a like for a game like Halo Infinite. And we're given a screenshot of what I'm assuming is the training area here. So here in the next paragraph we have the Come Fly Away With Us title, and they go on here to say that before they embark on any game development journey, that their team, the team at 343 should I say, spends a lot of time trying to identify the player base's needs. And they do that by setting goals and milestones to ensure that they can meet these, and how to best verify that they're meeting the targets they set themselves. An example they give is the Halo Insider program and how it was initially put into the Halo Master Chief Collection, because as we all know, Master Chief Collection did not launch very successfully at all and had a lot of problems with it. So 343 decided to create this Insider program where they enlisted the help of the community to test future versions of the game within the Halo Insider program, and this is the same process they look to apply with Halo Infinite. And an example down here would be that if they set the goal, we want to have a matchmaking success of 100%. They'd have to start building systems that could reliably measure whether or not they're hitting the goal or not, or more importantly, if it fails. Which is really good because, playing the Master Chief Collection at this point, introduction of the Battle Pass, including Halo's ODST, Reach and 4 to the collection, that is part of the feedback that was given from the flight program for the Master Chief Collection. And even now, being able to customize your Spartans more thoroughly in 2, 3, 4, the customization now is absolutely amazing. The latest update, for example, allows you to put armor effects similar to Halo Reach to your Spartans in 3 and 4 now. So like inclement weather, eternal, all that kind of thing. Has all come back as a part of feedback given to players who are a part of the Insider program. So scrolling a bit further on down here now, we've got that paragraph out the way, is technical previews, flights and betas. So it says here, what's in the name? Quite a lot, as it turns out. Different games across the industry and even Halo games over the years have had all sorts of pre-launch hands-on releases and tests that carry various official labels. Terms like alpha and beta often convey a certain expectation around polish and stability, breadth, marketing implications and more. We're further along than what would truly be considered an alpha, but also not really at the level of an overall completeness some expect in a beta. Hang on a minute, so it's past alpha, not quite at beta? And 343 are expecting to launch the game in holiday of this year. Can they honestly make a launch window like that soon? Then to me, if they're going to do that, then I'd expect maybe November time. But that's just me hazarding a guess here. We are specifically calling this a technical preview because we feel it best represents the goals we have, the build itself, and the experience that insiders will have. As you'll read below, our key driver and goal is truly technical in nature. We are looking to push our systems and services at a larger scale than we've been able to thus far, as an important step towards ensuring we are as ready as possible when the floodgates fully open at launch this holiday. Feedback and other insights are certainly valuable, but first and foremost we are testing and stressing the technical side of Halo Infinite. We also want to be very upfront and transparent about the fact that we will certainly have some bumps and rough edges in this build. Our teams have been working hard to ensure that the build and experience is such that it can deliver on our goals. But this is very much still a work in progress, and we expect some hiccups and varying degrees over the course of the technical preview. For further context, this technical preview is a couple of months behind where the development team and main game build is currently. The process and time it takes to go through all the gates and steps before releasing it to the public. Okay, all of our known key issues will be listed so participants will have a better understanding of what to expect and what to look out for. Of course, gathering support tickets on brand new issues is also immensely helpful at this scale. Despite our team's best efforts, nothing can truly substitute for the real-world large-scale testing, and we're sure to find some new areas of opportunity over the course of the preview. And lastly, we've already mentioned this a few times in the blog, but the word flighting is fairly new in a lot of circles. So when you hear us mention a flight, we are simply referring to a work in progress, hands-on release on the road to launch. Flighting is the process by which pre-release builds are put out into the world to pursue specific goals, review data and outcomes, iterate and repeat, all with the overarching goal of delivering the best shipping experience come launch time. With that I can't pronounce that word, I'm sorry, I am dyslexic, and expectations setting out of the way, let's take a closer look at the key goals the 343 Industries team has for Halo Infinite. Carry on. Test the game and our core services at a scale. We want to make sure the game and all of its supporting services are operating as expected, especially under the large scale pressure of a technical preview. By flighting the game to Halo Insiders, we're going to see players uncover quirks in our online services, find wacky new bugs in the game and menus, and so much more. The beautiful part of this process is that it's all intentional. Discovering these issues, small or major, months ahead of launch is the entire point of a flighting. We want to find these now so that we can address as many of them as we can ahead of launch. Let's take a look at some of the areas we'll be monitoring during the upcoming technical preview. Stability. How stable is the game across various hardware specs and platforms? Is the game freezing or crashing at a certain time on a specific hardware? Getting a large scale sampling of a real world hardware profiles is something we can only really accomplish via a large flight of this nature. And as we launch a PC for the first time, this is a critical focus to the team. See, do you not like this bullet point alone? Does that not sort of conflict with some of the initial goals they've already set? They've already said that their plan is to put out invitations to the flight for people that have been a part of the Halo Insider program. Would they not gain a lot more information in terms of what kind of systems people are using? Like, if people joining Insider program are more newer, given, let's say, how new the new series of the 30,000 graphics cards are concerned. As an example there, I'm not sure how they plan on achieving that, or how long this flighting program's going to be for. To carry on here, online services. Can all of our interconnected online services function well at an immense scale? This is our largest bucket since it includes so many entwined services that need to function in perfect harmony. Matchmaking server scaling, playlists serving the proper content, challenges stats, post-game carnage report, battle pass progression, and store functionality, armor customization, partying up with friends, etc. Yeah, that is actually quite a lot their systems need to do, actually. Halo Insider and Waypoint next. Can our Halo Insider communication systems and flighting tools function at scale? How do the Waypoint V Next app, iOS and Android, and web experiences feel and function as extensions of the game? Oh, so we're going to be able to... Are they going to put like a test battle pass out there then? How are they going to do this? That's an awesome screenshot. Well, I think we found the picture for our thumbnail, guys. Measuring game performance. Our team has already put in hard work developing the tools to measure and collect information about nearly every scenario imaginable, such as game crashes or matchmaking failures, so technical previews will give us a unique opportunity to compare our internal data to see what we see show up in the wild. Measuring the game's stability and performance, especially at scale, is an integral part of the game's journey to launch. Now let's hear from the Halo Infinite team to see what they're monitoring, how they're measuring it during the technical preview. So Sam Hanshaw here says that they are always looking at rates of matchmaking successes and availability of our servers. They also want to keep an eye on how many matches are getting played to completion and how they receive data of how many crashes people have. Okay, Brian Dunn here, multiplayer test lead, and we have Brian Hughes, a live test lead. The test team monitors a large number of specific areas over a course of a flight. First, we are watching for overall crash stability. They analyse the data on a per platform basis and identify specific things like most frequent crashes and differentiate between known and new crash instances. They use metrics such as mean time to fail, I wonder what that means, or crashes per 1,000 hours of gameplay as a way of quantifying overall stability. Next, we are closely monitoring the overall quality of matchmaking, which includes reliability, load times and skill matching. In addition, the performance of our dedicated servers, performance of the game itself, particularly across different PC configurations, and our overall netcode quality are all under scrutiny. And with Halo Infinite's greater emphasis on player customization, we're going to be paying close attention to progression challenges and which customization items people are unlocking and using. Lastly, we partner with the Halo support team to review tickets and bug reports to cross-reference against our telemetry and help understand real-world player impact and scope of an issue. We also lurk in the Halo waypoint forums, Reddit and Twitch, and socials to keep an eye on anecdotal reports. That's good. That's going to be mental, that. So, how are they going to measure mean time to fail and crashes per 1,000 hours of gameplay across all different PC builds and Xboxes all at the same time? But then it... That's an interesting one. Nate Jones, the engineering lead and services lifecycle team. If everything's going well, which I don't think it will do. But anyway, positivity, guys. I am able to play some matches during the flight and I am not glued to logs and monitoring. I keep the lobby service dashboards up to the side during the flight, watching back-end service performance, health, dedicated server usage, number of players connected, matchmaking, ticket success rates, etc. And I'll occasionally get pulled into a mid-flight investigation and have to dig into the logs. Most of my flight monitoring takes place after the flight ends. Our normal post-flight plan is to thoroughly look over this lobby and skill service logs for errors, warnings or weird stuff that's on top of any deeper dives into specific experiments we are running during the flight. So will that be the same process that will apply here? So we'll be given the flight, it will run for let's say 24 hours, they'll close off the flight, go through the logs, update the outdated version of the game, then have it go live again. Is that how they're going to approach this? So we've got here from Jeff, I'm going to be monitoring Brian Dunn for cheating because he wipes the ball with me every time. Okay. We've built a ton of different player controlled settings into Halo Infinite as well as support for a vast array of player hardware and peripherals. The PC team will be monitoring how the game holds up across that matrix of player choices. We'll be looking for things like drops in frame rate and crashes that happen with specific hardware configurations. We'll be combining that information with their graphics settings and peripherals, how many people are rocking ultra-wide setups, who is pushing for 4K, 8K resolution, who is playing with unlocked frame rate versus locks at 144Hz, what custom key bindings are choosing, etc. Ensuring our PC players can play Infinite the way they want is everything to us and we'll be closely watching for any problems when they do. This entire blog post sounds like it's geared towards the PC players. I wonder why Xbox isn't mentioned as much. Is that where they're worried? Like, how do your team measure that information? They have a general release health dashboard that displays information on matchmaking errors and any crashes that are happening. There is also a wealth of information in the server logs that the team can dig up into during investigations to figure out what broke and when. We also have a great support team who are capturing bug reports and support ticketing submissions. These are what we'll dive into after each flight is completed to get a picture of the experience through player observations of bugs. The information we get from those tickets is valuable for us to help track down the issue. and also for knowing how many individual people an issue is bothering, and how often it is bothering each of them. Brian and Brian are saying here that they have a robust suite of tool systems that feeds critical information to our team in real time to react. Anytime a player crashes, a system called Watson uploads a detailed crash report which feeds into our internal crash reporting website, Ticket Track. Like Nate and the services team, we also use Kutzso, which helps us understand the data we're receiving and converts it into something useful for reporting purposes. Speaking of reports, we use Power BI reports for any of the data we need to visualize, and all of this feeds into a result dev. Right, they're using technical lingo that really isn't important or necessary for us to understand. What these guys seem to be saying here is that they've got systems that are in real time tracking any bugs, crashes, all that kind of thing, reporting it straight back to them all. I'm going to assume this is what it's going to continue to say here. Yeah, it all looks like it's saying this, the same thing more or less. So just rest assured that the team at 343 are going to be monitoring everything we're doing during the flight. What do you and your team consider a success? They want players to be able to consistently play matches of Halo Infinite. The more matches to play, the more issues they can find for us to deal with. Every new issue players are able to find that were not is a success for me. Anything that gets found during flighting is something that's found before the game launches, resulting in a better game for everyone when we release. I know I've talked about problems a lot, but overall, we also consider our flight a success when we see people having fun playing the game. In the studio, we will be in the flight with you, and while we've got a ton of information we need to gather to make the game the best it can at launch, we're also looking forward to playing alongside you and opening a dialogue about our road to launch. To everyone who is going to participate in our upcoming flight, I want to say thank you for helping us make this game better. Brian and Brian say the success is when they're able to meet any targets they set, while not having as many big surprises. You always learn something new when people play the game for the first time, especially when it goes live. Nate Jones, selfishly, one hallmark of success is when nobody needed to activate my team's on-call process and phone someone from mid-flight engineering support. Jeff, creating a first-class PC game is all about embracing player identity and all the awesome diversity that comes with it. PC players build their gaming rigs to reflect the way they want to play, and we are making sure Halo Infinite honours that. The challenge, of course, is that such a diverse array of hardware and software creates a lot of ways for things to break. Our team considers flight success if we're able to find issues that we might not have seen if we didn't put the game into the hands of our players early. This is critical to ensuring every PC player in our min spec has an awesome experience on day one. We also like to see which custom key bindings players use, or better, see which players choose to use default key bindings, because that would mean we choose them all. Okay. So thinking retrospectively here, knowing this, for you guys that are filling out the Halo waypoint flight-in thing, it sounds like to me you'd have more chance of success if you use a keyboard and mouse over a controller, because these guys want to proactively see what buttons you're pressing and why. So yeah, it might be worth putting that in your form. Player feedback. Gathering input from our players during the technical preview is critical to our success at launch and beyond. The sooner we receive feedback, the sooner we can plan an action on that feedback. On that note, we want to clarify that with this technical preview, we are entering the next step in what's been a multi-year process and journey, where the team has been regularly getting critical feedback via user research and private flights. Naturally, the scale of the technical preview is greater than anything we've done to date, and that brings unique value and opportunities to capture even more perspectives. But just know that community feedback has been at the core development since the very beginning, and it will continue to remain a critical pillar going forward beyond launch. Even then, even obviously mentioning the state of the Master Chief Collection before it launched, even as we look at Halo Infinite, when they first revealed that gameplay trailer, just for the campaign, and the amount of feedback and backlash and opinions that flew out there was absolutely crazy. And then you look at how given the multiplayer trailer now, the improvements in, say, texture quality and things like that, chips and scratches and armor and all of that. So yeah, what they're saying here, is proven to be correct. Feedback focus areas. Okay, so this is what they're going to be doubling down on. The core gameplay. We want to know how you feel about the core combat experience. How do you feel about player movement, weapon balance, equipment? How fun is it to engage in a battle in Halo Infinite? Maps and modes. How do you feel about the design and flow of maps? Are the maps and modes both fun and fair? The Academy's weapon drills. Did weapon drills give you a good understanding of how a weapon functions? How fun were the various weapon drills? UI, Battle Pass. How intuitive was the menu and navigation? Were you able to understand your progression through the Battle Pass? Were you able to find and equip customization items easily? Here we go. Measuring feedback. They say it's critical that player feedback can be a bit nebulous cloud of forum posts, tweets and YouTube videos, which can make it hard to measure in some cases. Luckily, we have a two-pronged approach to gather this information, measure it, and share it with the team. The two prongs in this case are the Xbox user research team and the 343 community team. Right, the Xbox team gathers unquantifiable data, that surveys that will be sent out at the end of a flight. These surveys ask detailed questions that deep dive into the core of the player's experience on a flight. So players will be given a survey to fill out. They'll take the surveys back and pass it back to the development team. That's cool. What else to say here? Since we have survey data from the entire history of Halo, they help us compare our current scores to the best scores from across the games. We can also compare scores from different times or flights of the game to see how specific aspects are progressing over time. The community team dives into the infamous realm of online interactions mentioned above. They set up focused feedback threads and here in the waypoint forums. They listen to everybody's feedback on Twitter and they check Halo subreddit multiple times a day. Watch videos and streams from Halo players. That's cool. And they take all of that kind of information and again, they pass that along too. More often than not, they'll also use different ways to collect player feedback via the Xbox user research and 343 community teams and see, right, okay, so they're basically taking like keywords and things like that, so if there's a consistent thing within all the feedback together, they act upon it or move further up a priority list. That's what that sounds like. These two inputs help the team compare Infinite's current state with its own previous scores, Halo titles, as well as development team and player expectations. Using these comparisons, we can recognise which areas need improvement, which areas are performing as expected, and which are exceeding targets. After reviewing this feedback, we identify opportunities and prioritise areas we want to go after. Brilliant. Transparency. It's important to note that while we are going to be listening closely, there will be some feedback that we can act upon before launch. Some feedback will have to fit into the game's roadmap, and additional feedback we won't or cannot take action on. That said, we will communicate that what will and won't be changing in the game as a result of the technical preview and why. Oh, that's good. So it's not a case of, right, if I was to go to 343 and say, look, here, I've got some issues and here they all are, and they don't say why, that would suck. Because it'd feel like you're not getting listened to, where they're going here, right, okay, we're listening, we see your points making, here's why we will or won't. I like that. I do hope they stick to that. It's like Final Fantasy XIV does exactly the same thing here, takes the same approach, and it's like the game's so successful for it. As a part of this commitment to transparency, the team will meet to go over hot topics and common pieces of player feedback that emerge during flights, which we call themes. After reviewing these themes, the team will spend time investigating, figuring out if they agree and want to act on it, and when in the schedule we can take action on them. Again, there will be things we can't act upon before launch this holiday, and that's okay. We plan supporting Halo Infinite for years to come, and all feedback will be captured to help inform future priorities. Once we've done the due diligence on our side, we then work on putting together an outcomes report that outlines our plans for each and every one of those key feedback themes. My only hope is it's not like, let's say, Destiny, it acts on feedback, but it does it seasonally, or more often than not, it does it seasonally. So if, like, let's say Destiny community would turn on and say, right, this gun's like overpowered, this gun's weak, it doesn't get any use. it's tend to be done in seasons. I hope the team at 343 can, let's say, deliver like patches, weapon balancing, and react on feedback a lot more quicker than once in every 3 months. I really do hope, well, that they do that. Bugs and issues. When it comes to bugs and issues specifically, we ask Halo Insiders to utilise the Halo support site to file a ticket. When the technical preview goes live, everyone who is invited will receive an email and a waypoint message that includes some important links to the known issue documentation, along with where and how to file a support ticket. To help keep everything tidy, a special section of the Halo support site is created exclusively for insiders. Right, that's cool. As always, we ask that you read known issues first before reporting. The bug that you found, well, yeah, because I'd imagine they wouldn't want to be swamped with a lot of, yeah, we already know this exists. Oh, here we go. What's going to be in the upcoming technical preview? Now, with the foundation of the fighting set, let's talk about the content and goals of our upcoming technical preview, which will focus on bots and a slice of new academy experience. Okay. This technical preview is intentionally focused on these specific areas to help us gather some scale data as we bring these new experiences to Halo for the first time. As we look further ahead, we plan for future flights to expand into more content, including traditional PvP arena and BTB. With this and our higher level feedback goals noted above, we land on the following specific focal points. With this in mind, the focus areas for our technical preview are arena gameplay versus bots, arena maps, academies, weapon drills, menu and battle pass user interface, new waypoint experiences on web, iOS and Android. Okay, so my first thoughts there is, I think what they're putting to put forward with this technical preview clashes in a bad way with who they plan on putting the technical preview out for. They're trying to test essentially a tutorial to veteran players. This technical preview should be more geared towards newer people, specifically that have joined the Infinite program. Because if you've got an experienced Halo player, are they really accurately going to measure whether or not something's too easy or too hard for something that is designed to be an entry point for somebody new to playing Halo Infinite? I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure that this will work successfully, but I might be talking out my ass. The bot arena. Halo Infinite is the franchise's first foray into a world of multiplayer bots. To provide a totally new multiplayer experience for players and to gather feedback on bot behaviour and online performance, we'll be debuting the Bot Arena playlist, which puts 4 players against 4 bots on arena maps. For this technical preview, the Bot Arena experience will feature Slayer across 3 maps in this build. Slayer on Bazaar, Recharge and Live Fire. To keep players on their toes and keep the experience engaging, we're planning for a daily content offering that will evolve over the course of the flight based on the overall engagement of participants. We're going to intentionally start things off slow to help everyone get acclimated. I get another word I can't pronounce, I'm sorry. But as the community gets up to speed and slays copious amounts of bots, our goal is to crank things up to provide greater challenge and variety. Bot Arena is a great place to familiarise yourself with Halo Infinite's gameplay and maps in a stress-free environment. The bots still have their quirks, which is why we're flighting them, and they certainly aren't pushovers. Be prepared. Again, I come back to what I was just saying before. I don't think this is something that should be geared towards experienced Halo players. I really don't. However, one thing I think would be really cool is if, let's say for the launch version of Halo Infinite, you could set the difficulty of bots from, let's say, from easy, normal, heroic to legendary, so the AI difficulty would scale to the player's experience or preference. So let's say if you were a newer player to Halo Infinite and you wanted to kind of like practice at trying things out in the tutorial, for lack of a better description here, but you wanted to get better at the game and you wanted to change it to Legendary, I think that'd be a really cool thing for them to do. Academy weapon drills. As a part of the Academy experience and the first Halo, weapon drills offer players a brand new way to learn how each weapon functions before entering the heat of battle. Oh wow, so we've got a firing range. That's cool. Well, yeah, that's pretty much self-explanatory then. Here, because there'll be a bunch of new weapons in Halo Infinite, you'll get to experience them all on the firing range. Yeah, that's awesome. I don't need... Oh, the list. What kind of weapons? We'll see. MA-40 assault rifle, the battle rifle, the sidekick. I'm assuming that's the sidearm. Again, sorry if I get these wrong. I'm not a Halo veteran, so I'm just going off here, you know, what I do know, because I have played Halo here and there. The CQS-48 Bulldog sounds like a shotgun. The Needler, I know what that is. VK-78 Commando, I'm not sure what that is. The Sniper, Plasma Pistol, Covenant Carbine, the Ravager. I think these are the 3 new weapons. I'm not sure what each of these are. Skewer, Heatwave and Ravager. There have been times at the studio when people would compare their best scores in these weapon drills. It always leads to some fun and healthy competition, especially when it comes to the BR and Sniper. Share your best weapon drill scores with us by tweeting at Halo. Battle Pass challenges, menus and customization. On top of the gameplay focus experiences above, we also want to make sure that the game's menu navigation feels intuitive. We're especially interested in seeing how players move through the UI to unlock their battle passes and check their challenges, use the store, and apply their own customization elements in the armor hall. That's interesting. So they're separating battle passes and a store. So there will be microtransactions then. I wonder what. In order to allow Halo Insiders to unlock their battle passes and unlock various customization options, we'll be granting invited accounts a set amount of in-game credits. Oh wow, so they're bringing the credit systems from Halo Reach into Infinite. See, I like that system in Reach. Oh, I'm hoping it's similar in execution for Infinite. Players will be free to use their credit how they see fit, but customization items unlocked during technical previews will not carry over. Okay, so automatically I'm asking the question, will insiders get anything like I don't know, a unique colour palette or something like that to show that they've been part of the flighting program? Similar to how we're only flighting with a subset of arena maps and modes, this technical preview will feature a truncated battle pass and a small fraction of the customization options planned for launch. The key focus is to ensure the battle pass and challenge unlocking systems and customization equipping systems are both functioning properly and hold up at a scale. The reason for having these battle pass challenges and customization systems in the flight is purely technical. It isn't meant to be a showcase of our launch content, so please don't read into it that much. Plus, you wouldn't want us to say wouldn't you want us to save some of the super cool content for launch? As you get to hold your little AI buddy out. Waypoint app and web. Lastly, in coordination with these Halo Infinite technical previews, we will also be flying our new Halo Waypoint web and mobile app experiences. You should be able to do the normal things like check your battle pass progression, challenges, and customize your statins all from the app. Okay, there. So yeah, Halo Waypoint on the go. Taxing to the tarmac. We know the largest question is, when is the technical preview? Oh wow, they're actually going to drop a date here. The release of this block means we're getting very close, but flying itself is a fluid process. We need to ensure we're successfully cleared out our final gate before we're officially a go. That said, we've been given the okay to say our first bot-focused technical preview could happen as soon as next weekend. Oh wow, it's that soon? Prior to the flight starting, we're planning a live stream where we will dive into the actual build and walk through nearly every facet of the technical preview. Stay tuned. For me personally, I don't think I'll be checking out that stream, strictly because I want to see it all for the first time. Again, assuming I'll be invited. We'll be hosting hundreds of thousands of Halo Insiders during the first technical preview, and then, if all goes well, we'll invite even more eligible Halo Insiders for the next flight. We want to start at a reasonable number of participants before potentially going to a much larger player pool, but our goal is to eventually get every eligible Halo Insider a chance to go hands-on and help us achieve our goals on the road to launch. Remember, if you don't get in this time, please don't despair and more opportunities will come. Right, so they say the Insider program will start next weekend, but don't say how long it's going to be on for. But hang tight if you don't get chosen for this preview. How often are these going to be? Is it going to be right next weekend? The program it starts until it launches, and every I don't know, maybe so many days or weeks, so add more people to it. It'd be nice if they kind of gave you a time scale of how long at least this first flight will be, whether or not it's all weekend or all week. That'd be nice to know. And yes, the technical preview will be good to stream and create content around. Feel free to share experiences with us and others. Brilliant. If I'm on that, I guarantee I will be doing that. I'll be streaming live on Twitch, twitch.tv/Viper. I will also put my streams up on YouTube as well. If for you guys that don't get to watch me live, you'll check me out on YouTube. And again, the channel there is /Viper as well. All my links to all my social media platforms will be in the description below. We'll have even more specifics to share about the technical preview as soon as we're locked. So be sure to follow @Halo on Twitter. Okay. Now, as we do with all Inside Infinites, let's hear from the folks around the studio and get a close-up view of some jokes they're stating. Okay, right, we're at the final hurdle, guys. Tales from the trenches. While we take great joy in sitting down with the team and diving in deep with their body of work, there's a whole wide studio building Halo Infinite. Here's some tales from the trenches. Just below, I'll learn a little bit more about the developers at 343 Industries building the future of Halo. One of the many challenges building a game for a simultaneous release on a broad range of hardware is ensuring that for all of our content management and engine systems can dramatically scale to make best use of the console or PC without it bogging it down. That's the first time they've mentioned console. Memory has been a big concern for me, and I'm super proud of what we've managed to accomplish in upgrading all of our technology to support a much larger game than Halo 5 on the same platform, while also allowing it to breathe and greatly improve its visual quality on newer, more powerful hardware. It's funny that they're quite specific on memory. One thing I am particularly excited about is getting to be involved in the process of final tuning for ranked and competitive for Halo Infinite. It's really robust. It is really a robust cross-team effort that includes multiplayer sandbox and competitive insights, formerly known as Pro Team. More teams filled with designers, producers and engineers that get to go into the nitty-gritty details about everything. Does this flag stand need to be moved a few feet over? Was that one spawn you got in the middle of that game that had a really big impact in the moment? Does each team have an equal chance to get the grapple shot on this map? Oh wow, so you don't actually, not everybody starts with the grapple shot, you pick that up. That's good. I was so worried that everybody would get that off the get-go and just start swinging out everywhere like the fucking Spider-Man. For high-skill players, these questions are critical. They mean not only ranking up in the game, but potentially millions of dollars as well as when you put into the HCS. I'm not sure what that means. It's just fun to nerd out about these little details and think about how they roll up into the larger principles that have made up competitive Halo for just about 2 decades. Of course, like with all games, as soon as all of the competitive players around the world get their hands on the meta will evolve, and we'll have to jump right back into the nitty-gritty again. Okay. Part of working together for a long time is that you develop an internal shortcomings to things. Our team's shorthand tends to be very whimsical. Someone on our team once jokingly called the Halo combat dance of strafing and jumping as given them the old razzle dazzle, and the name stuck. Now we have intense debates about how we can get the bot to razzle dazzle to just feel right. I recently fixed a bug that I affectionately deemed the wiggle cat bug. In certain edge cases, bots thought they couldn't make a jump when they totally could. The resulting behaviour was them rapidly dancing back and forth at the edge of jumps like a cat debating if it could make leap into the kitchen cat onto the kitchen counter. I'm a little sad to see it go, but it was kind of cute. That sounds actually pretty funny. As always, tremendous thanks to those who took the time to share their stories with us. Now this leads to the conclusion of our latest Inside Infinite with words from Joseph Staten. Oh wow, that concept art for a map looked awesome. Reminds me of Halo 3's bar. Not Halo, Uncharted 3's bar. Sorry, bloody hell, getting my games mixed up there. Bizarre bot beatdown. I'm very glad that our first flight is shining a spotlight on our multiplayer bots. They are, without a doubt, one of my favourite features of Halo Infinite. In the early games, they were a feature that we always wanted to land but consistently got cut due to limited time and resources. Now I'm very happy we've been able to make that happen this time around. What's it like to fight against Infinite's bots? Oh, okay, here we go. Bots come in 4 flavours: Recruit, Marine, ODST and Spartan, with each level representing an increase in bot skill. Oh, this is a real nice way of characterising them. The first time I played a match against bots, I decided to set the difficulty at ODST, assuming they would be competitive but not too challenging. I mean, not for me, right? A grizzled Halo veteran of 2 decades of Halo PvP. Well, within 30 seconds of the start of a Slayer match in the sub-8 New Mombasa Street Market at the centre of the arena map Bazaar, I found myself in a classic Halo combat dance with a bot who did an alarmingly good job of sidestepping shots from my sidekick pistol and then dropped my shield with a well-thrown frag grenade. As I retreated from the market through an archway, peppering the bot with a few more rounds, I thought, no worries, I'll just crouch behind one of these big wooden doors and wait for my shields to recharge, because I'm pretty sure this bot won't be smart enough or brave enough to. At which point the bot sprinted through the door, clocked my position and finished me off with very 2 confident blasts from its bulldog shotgun. So yes, as we mentioned earlier, be prepared. Some more examples of bot behaviour. ODST and Spartan bots will effectively dodge grenades and rockets. Recruits and Marines will not. Oh, okay. All bots use equipment, and higher level bots will grapple shot to you to finish you off with a melee kill. I've seen them do this with energy swords, which is amazing and terrifying. Bots keep track of power weapon spawns and sprint to clean, and most importantly, bots that are fair. We don't change their health or damage values per difficulty level. They just get smarter and more resourceful the higher you go. That's exactly what you're going to do in our tech preview flight. Start the bots on Marine difficulty and then let you work your way up to Spartan. Good luck, we hope you have a blast, and as always, sincerely appreciate your support. I'm not gonna lie, that bot difficulty actually sounds fun as hell for a multiplayer game. I'd like to know what the jump between ODST and Spartan is. But apart from that, guys, yeah, that's the blog post all read and done. I'm sorry this was a long one. This is my first time doing something like this, and apologies for any words I might not have communicated clearly enough. Again, I do have dyslexia, and I do try my best to make sure I can enunciate and read through things as concisely as I can. If you guys are interested, please make sure to hit that subscribe button, and please like the video if you've enjoyed this piece of content. The best place to follow me would be at Twitter. I also stream as well, and when I stream or put YouTube content up, I always post it on my Twitter account. So if you want a centralised point to keep up to date with me, please follow me on Twitter. Again, thank you for watching, and I appreciate the time taken. I'll see you again in the next video.